There's a way of structuring your digital systems that allows you to feel more at ease when it finally comes time to make informed decisions about what to do with the customers that you've worked so hard to build. You see, by now you would have found a product or service market fit. The engine is running, your team is firing on all cylinders. You have slowly stepped back from the day-to-day grind, and now you're trying to focus on setting up procedures, SOPs, or standard operating procedures in your business. Now, you know what to do already because it was you who developed it after all. But now it comes time where you need a system that gently nudges the rest of your team to follow suit. Now, I imagine that your current system looks like this. You have got Calendly to help you take in bookings. You've got JotForm that you place on your website to collect customer information and submissions. Perhaps you've got something like Zendesk, which helps you manage service tickets. If you're leaning more into social media, then something like Hootsuite will help you to prioritize and structure your social media posts. Something like MailChimp to help you send off marketing emails, and connecting a system like Eventbrite to help you host events. Now, you find yourself having to stitch together all of these different tools with no one place to keep track of them all. In this way, data is lost in these siloed areas, and you're finding it hard to accurately give a full picture of your customer journey. Now, it's sad to see this happening, really. I don't think that businesses should be stuck in this position, because having your operations set up like this, it really makes it hard to decide where the one source of truth ultimately lies. You find yourself having to look at different places just to get an idea of what's happening so far. Now, we solve this problem by using a very specific customer relationship management system, or a CRM. There's no more Frankensteining your digital operations. You've got one place, one source of truth, where you can clearly see what has happened thus far in your customer or prospect's journey as they interact with your business. So let's just take my examples from before, right? Your customer data comes into your business for the very first time through your website, where you have a form there, or perhaps from Calendly, for example. Things like their contact information then lives there. You might take the initiative to collect qualifying questions here too, which is great. You know, things like why they reached out to you, the problems that they're trying to solve, etc., etc. You know, that's great. Now let's just say that you want to send them an acknowledgement email, thanking them for getting in touch with you. Great. Some softwares like Calendly might, as they have adapted over time, allow you to send off an automated email. Great, you send this off. But if your existing tool doesn't have that, well, then now your emails would have to be sent off with MailChimp. The information of what this email was sent, well, now that is stored over there. Okay, now you want them to register for a webinar or an event. Well, now your button in your email redirects your prospect or customer onto another system like Eventbrite, because that handles events specifically. Well, now that business asks for the same exact information that you have just gathered before, but the time, date, the event name, and etc. now lives, well, in Eventbrite. You see where I'm going with this, right? Data is scattered. It's all over the place. So with that in mind, why one system? All right, and more importantly, the question to ask here is, how do we then centralize all of our customer touch points in one place? Well, the system that has worked really well for our community on HubOps Unfiltered is a system called a Customer Relationship Management, or a CRM. This is one tool that does the majority of all the fundamentals that a business needs to conduct their digital operations. The customer journey that I've illustrated before, and so much more. Now, for most of you who are listening to this, perhaps you already have heard of a CRM or are currently using one. But if you feel as though you are not fully utilizing it enough, or your team isn't really grasping the importance of keeping it updated, it's probably because it wasn't carefully curated to fit your business in the first place, or as it has been a long time since then. And there is a disconnect between that setup and your team's unique style of conducting business. Because every organization is different. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all kind of solution here. And each portal is an extension of not only your business, but the way your team ultimately operates on a day-to-day basis. So this is a 3-step framework that I use to get my clients to effectively create an impactful CRM that you've paid so much money for and spent so much time building out. So step 1, take the time and realign. Now that we've decided that a CRM is critical to streamlining our customer data all in one place, we've understood that now, let's talk about how to really get the most out of it, really squeeze the most out of the functionality. Because anything to do with data would always follow this one principle, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Take your phone, for example, right? Your phone is kind of like a mini CRM. And if something so basic like your friend's contact number is wrong, then how can you trust it moving forward? So first step here is really sit down with each department of your organization, or at least one key person managing that team, and get them to outline key deliverables. Their key actions that they conduct on a daily basis to really get their job done. Okay, now this could be done on a digital whiteboard like Miro, for example, or Figma if you guys are leaning towards that, or even go back to basics with sticky notes that you kind of paste on a wall. It doesn't matter, a whiteboard works as well. Now the point of this exercise is to really brain dump everything onto one place, get everything out of your system into one place for everyone to see. From there we can then move on to the next step, right, which is step 2, build it out. Implementation. Once we have all of our action items in place here, our processes, it's time to really cut through the noise. Zoom in on all of the repetitive, mundane tasks that your team simply wants to get rid of. Things that are time wasters, so that they can focus on the more important things in the business. Customer relationships, visiting their customers on site, brainstorming perhaps, all these things. This is where you really figure out the triggers, the workflows, and weave in other tech stack if you absolutely need to, but always remembering to point the information back to your CRM. Now this is the hardest part, and honestly the most critical. If you don't have someone to help you with this, if you don't have a dedicated person within your organization who can execute on this grand surgical process, then our team can help you with that. Now, step 3, it's time to reframe and train your team. Now that this has all been set up, we need to get the team to be fully utilizing the system, okay? And embracing it is what I mean. By this time in the process, they would have already bought in to this thought process to begin with. We have talked to them about their process, identified areas in which automation can help them get their job done more effectively. All the tools that they need will be in one place. Now, here is where we can embed small, neat little psychological tricks to ease them into utilizing the system more effectively. We'll get into that in another video. It should be set up in a way that it's one of the first few things that they do at the beginning of each workday. Right? It should form into a habit. They open up email, they open up Slack, and they open up their CRM, right? This needs to be a habit. Now, if they know and was a part of this process from the start in terms of brainstorming the entire business operations here, then they know how important it is to have their system up to date, tidy, because it helps them to do their job better, and in turn, the entire organization will flow seamlessly downstream. So, if you like support in implementing the system for your business, we've got 3 slots available for this month. We are also very selective in the types of businesses that we actually work with. So fill in the form below and we'll see if we're a good fit. We also have a free weekly-ish newsletter called Hub Ops Unfiltered for those of you who want actionable tips on managing your CRM. Thank you for tuning in. I wish you all the best on your journey.